Hello, my lovelies. I am back with a deck strength versus weakness. This is for January. I was on hiatus for the month of January, so for those that are subscribed to my channel, you know I was not here. So we're playing catch up, very much so. And our voted on deck is the Wisdom of the Oracle. So this is the deck we are going to be featured. And if you would like to skip all the way to the beginning of that because you know what this series is about, please look in the description box down below. I will probably include timestamps. For those of you that are new to my channel or new to this particular series, this is where we take a deck that is voted on by my subscribers on my community tab. There's usually a poll. And we go over the strength and the weakness of the deck, other decks that share that strength or weakness, the job of the deck of the month, and how that plays into my collection, any other decks I have in my collection that share the same job, as well as the pros and the cons of whether or not the deck is worth purchasing. We also then go through in 4 parts of perfect pairs, Tarot and Oracle, and then anti-pairs, Tarot and Oracle. So decks, both Tarot and Oracle, that jive with the deck of the month and those that fall short and disconnect entirely. So let's go ahead and get started with the Wisdom of the Oracle. Okay, my lovelies. The Wisdom of the Oracle. This is by baron-reid. It is a Hay House deck. It is mass market. Comes in a nice 2-piece box that has a plus. However, this is a Oracle deck. The cards are oversized. Here is a card from the Tarot of Dragons that is a standard tarot. So for those of us that have small hands, the oversized cards can be a bit of a pain in the butt. So love it, hate it, up to you to decide. Deck comes unedged. It does have borders if you want to trim them. You should be able to do that with a cutter and a rounder. Guidebook, of course, is a fantastic. You do get a lot of different messages in here per card. So you do get a table of contents, notes about how to work with the deck, divination, couple spreads, examples of how to read different messages from the deck. So like the first one here, we have Yang, essential meanings, oracle messages, and then we have relationship messages, prosperity messages, and protection messages. So this is a really in-depth guidebook. It does give you a lot of content per card. Hands down, I have to say this is probably one of my favorite oracles because it is so versatile. It does cover a lot of ground in that aspect. The cards are numbered for those that are interested. The strength of this deck is actually Divine Feminine. Now that covers quite a bit as a Divine Feminine deck. And apologies for having to go ahead and zoom further in. I realized I was zoomed out a little too far. We can get you a little bit more up close and personal with this Divine Feminine deck. Now, if this is not an oracle for you, that's Divine Feminine, maybe you don't like the way it's set up, you don't like the way it looks, maybe you get it in your hands, you don't like the way it feels. Another deck that does have the same strength. This is an indie deck, by the way. This is the Personal Power Oracle by Deja DeWitt. This one is definitely different. Different color scheme. It can be more of a affirmation deck. Yes, it does feel younger, but it does share Divine Feminine as a strength. just as another option. I like to give you guys options on that. Now, when it comes to Wisdom of the Oracle, now that I've tagged it back into the frame here, the weakness of this deck is actually shadow work, which makes perfect sense to me. This deck is about feeling our way through the world. And does that include shadow work? Yes, but this is more about the brighter side of things, taking a look at things, exposing things, yes, but maybe not necessarily for working through them. So shadow work is actually the drawback of this deck. It is the weakness. Okay, and I know somebody out there is asking me, well, Celeste, what is the deck that could make up for that? Because you know, in this series, I'm going to give it to you. And here we have the Druidcraft Tarot. Yes, I'm giving you a tarot instead of an oracle because this is a newer deck to my collection, and it is one that makes up for this weakness. Sometimes you have two decks that are completely different, and if one has a blind spot, sometimes you need a fill gap if they can actually pair. So this is one of those decks that if you're needing shadow work done and you know you can't grab the Wisdom of the Oracle, this is a tarot deck that is a possible choice to grab. Now in my collection, when it comes to Wisdom of the Oracle, the job of the deck, what it assists me with, is actually to help explore all aspects of life. So a little bit of everything. The fact that the guidebook covers so many other types of messages, areas, is one of the reasons why this deck has that job in my collection. And if this deck, of course, has a different strength and weakness in your hands, because it does play into its own energy as well as your energy of whether or not you're compatible, by all means, let me know if your deck has a different strength or a different weakness, or in any of the next following sections, if you find other videos that it pairs with, or not other videos, other decks associated with that video that it pairs with or doesn't pair with. I'm always up to see how other new decks or older decks that I don't have or can't get coincide with the deck of the month. It's all about sharing information. This is a big giant catalog. Feel free to pipe up and comment in the comment section and add to it if you will. Okay. Now another deck that's also in my collection that does the exact same job is actually an oracle deck. This is by Umbrella Tree Press. It's an indie deck. It's a Kickstarter deck. This is the Fairy Tale Oracle, and it also helps me explore all aspects of life. They each have a keyword, and it tells you which fairy tale from around the world it comes from. Like this one's Entitlement, Story of the Three Bears. Examination, Brides on Their Trial. Expression, Snow Queen. Faith, The Girl Without Hands. Fearless, The Brave Little Tailor. So this one functions in a little bit different way. It's a little bit, you can go off the fairy tale if you know it, or if you don't, you go off the keywords. It does do the same job. Do I think it does it better? Yes and no. Sometimes it jives with other decks that Wisdom of the Oracle does not. For the most part, I do prefer Wisdom of the Oracle for those of you that are curious. Now, is it worth purchasing, considering what it does with the strength, with the weakness? Overall, I would say yes. Some people don't like unedged decks. Some people don't like borders. Some people don't like oracle cards at all. Some people don't like the size of oracle cards. And I already showed you this deck is in fact, excuse me, oracle sized. So if you do not like the size of the cards or the cardstock, which is pretty standard Hay House oracle cardstock. I mean, it is a gloss, so you may not like that for those of you that like a matte finish. But it is mass market. It is cheap. It is a nice sturdy 2-piece box. So the packaging is well worth it. It is on edge, so those of you that like to custom your deck and modify it, this is a good one to do that with. And it comes with a very thorough guidebook. So overall, I would say this one is worth purchasing. You can agree or disagree on that particular aspect. All right, my lovelies, that is all I have for you in this section. I apologize if that was a quick run through, but we are going to continue with our perfect pairs tarot and then oracle, and then our anti-pairs tarot and oracle. I do try to release these videos consecutively, and if I skip a day, it's usually only one. But I'm trying to play catch up. This is for January's deck of the month for 2024, and I will be giving you February's deck of the month, which we did have a tie on. I allowed my dad to do the tiebreaker. We will be featuring the Tarot of Pirates for February. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you guys in this series again tomorrow. Feel free to join me. Bye.